Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I thought I'd take a little tour of the garden since the rain stopped. You can see some of the stuff we planted is coming along. Got some chamomile here, some sweet alyssum, some rosemary. Over here, our perennial bed is looking good. I think this is one of those trees that we got from Missouri, a persimmon. And then over here I also planted some comfrey cuttings, but they have not come in yet. But some of the flowers are looking pretty, extra pretty for Mother's Day. And over here we've got our primrose and our dianthus. I try to take the dead heads off and throw them back in so that they will continue to grow and spread. I forget what this is called. This might be another type of sweet alyssum, but it looks like it's got some new growth. And this is our Appalachian mint. It smells wonderful. And this primrose I was going to plant in the front yard because the deer aren't supposed to like it, but you can see I have not gotten around to that, and I actually am starting to like the way it's looking there, so I might just plant it there. And then this rosemary is coming back. This has come from all the way in Mississippi. We brought it all the way over here. And then this is the clematis. Haven't gotten around to planting it yet. It's just been raining. And then this, I forget what this is. This might be like a butterfly bush, but look at these beautiful little flowers. The pollinators are supposed to love this. But it's coming along. And then some more perennials here. The lamb's ear. I need to trim some of those leaves that are down touching the dirt in that pot. And some more sweet alyssum. And you can see on our rain gauge we've gotten almost 2 inches of rain. 1.5 to 2 inches. Blueberries are looking good. I'm gonna need to put a net over these, or some kind of insect screening to be able to keep the birds away. And this persimmon, this is a Fuyu persimmon, doing well. This is some broccoli that I am letting go to seed, so I'll have some to plant in the fall. And you can see as an update, these different types of squashes and zucchinis and things are doing well. I had even direct sowed some just in case the others are not doing as well, and also as like progression sowing. And then hopefully soon we'll be able to get it up on this trellis. You can see our tomatoes are starting to take off. I had put some of that Alaskan fish fertilizer on them, high in nitrogen, just to give them a little boost as they're having trouble as seedlings, but now they're doing better. This is our kohlrabi that I'm letting go to seed. So I'll be cutting it back soon as I feel like these seeds are fully developed. And this is I think it's a radish that also I'm letting go to seed. Here we've got our Thai long beans. They're starting to come up, and hopefully I'll be able to put them along the trellis soon. Over here I was having trouble germinating ground cherries, and so I just kind of hoed a little spot and sprinkled them all on there and been keeping it moist. Here we've got our mulberry. I found out that I think this is a dwarf mulberry, and if you can see back in there, you can see it makes small mulberries, which I'm not too happy about, but we'll take it, live and learn. And our blackberry is looking nice. Look at all those. Probably have to put something over them to keep the birds away. And likewise, I think it's spreading over here too. And then we've got our snap peas. I need to come out and harvest these again before they get too big. When they get too big, they get kind of rough and woody. And some of the watermelons that I had directly sowed a while back have started popping up. And our okra back here is coming up as well. The collard greens that I'm letting go to seeds. Looks like the rain toppled them over, but there's our okra coming in. And then here's that Miwa kumquat. Pretty sure it is coming back from underneath the graft point. So I'm going to let it come up, and then one day I'll graft a Miwa kumquat scion onto it. Here is our asparagus. Got some lettuce coming up. Over there, I planted out some peppers. Got peach peppers and cayennes and jalapenos. And then up at the front, we've got some of our eggplants. See if I can point to it. And there's a little eggplant there. And they're all around there. Looks like it was trying to zoom out on me. Cabbages. They're forming heads. They're taking a really long time. But I learned from, I think it was the Sandy Bottom Homestead, they said that the flat Dutch cabbages take a long time to form heads. I've noticed that here. And some of them are going to seeds. And then here's more of our cabbages. Had a lot of damage from, I guess, aphids. But some of them I just need to cut down to the earth. Some of them, though, are forming some nice little heads. I want to be able to harvest those, make my lacto-fermented sauerkraut. And then another blueberry here. I moved my tomatoes. These are my cherry tomatoes from Baker Creek outside, out of the greenhouse. They seem to be adapting. There's another pawpaw tree. And then this is our little corn thing that we've got going on here. So I'm trying to do the three sisters system. And about a week ago I planted the bean seeds. You can see throughout there they're coming up. And hopefully they'll start to grow up onto the corn. And then I'll probably in a week or two plant the squash. That will go along the bottom there. And up here you can see we've got our tomatoes. So over here we have our big Zac. That's the first big Zac from the Tomato Challenge 2025. And that's the second one. And then we've got some Romas, some Sarrodois. I think that's how you pronounce it in French. And then we've got another beefsteak tomato. And this is the American persimmon tree here that I had actually cut in half because I'm trying to keep these small. We're following the grocery row garden style from David the Good. And then also, if you notice, it's not Christmas time. This is May, Mother's Day weekend. And I've put some Christmas tree ornaments around. This is something I've done in the past. I put them out before my tomatoes develop. And the idea then is that birds won't go after my real tomatoes when they turn red. And I've done it before, it works. See, I've got some on the cherry tomatoes too. And then coming over here, we've got our little cucumber patch. Remember these bottles I put here with mothballs and water inside to try to keep away the squash vine borers. But the directly sowed ones have come up, and these are some of the ones that I had started indoors. It's funny, the ones I start indoors, again, I gotta work on my seed starting. Over here we've got our cassava that I transplanted a while back, and it seems like it's hanging in there. These two are struggling more. The roots broke, but look what's happening. They're starting to grow new little starts there. And these, the roots did not break when I was transplanting them, so they're doing much better. We've got our daylilies and our lavender and more sweet alyssum, and that's doing well. And we've got a honeysuckle back there at the corner. And then we've got some nice flowers over here. The peonies some of them have just about finished blooming, but then others are just starting to, and are looking okay. The ants seem to be giving them some trouble, but once they bloom, they will be just beautiful. And they smell incredible. And these had bloomed a while back. It looks like they're going to seed, so I'll try to save some seeds. Also, I'm going to try to divide some of the peonies up and spread them to other parts of the garden. Same thing with this hosta, and try to split some of those up, as well as this hellebore or Lenten rose. And this, I think, is another little persimmon sapling coming in. And then you've got our roses back there. And I mentioned daylilies before. They are just now starting to bloom here in zone 8A Atlanta area. And so this whole area is going to look beautiful pretty much throughout summer. Normally it seems like they don't bloom until June, but they might be pushed back a little bit because we got a little bit of a cold front here. But that's the garden update for Mother's Day 2025.